All right. Hello, everyone. It's been almost uh 3.5 years um since this last episode. And yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to that Straight Up with Gabby Duga. Or we're officially back to this studio, or dropping this uh episode on Monday. And before I begin talking, I'd like to share some few things why I've been gone for almost 2.5 years. Obviously, those 2.5 years were a lot of sojourning, a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting, and now that 2.5 years have gone by, figured let's start the podcast again, and why not start never late than never, ever, right? So, welcome back, listeners, and those who may, yeah, welcome back again. And hope you guys had can support me and cheer me on this turning venture. And well, we have a guest here. Our cat have two. We have our family has two cats, so Gigi and now with them soon. We'll pause in a second. Let her out. So, let's begin the topic of the before that. Let's begin with some sports updates. Uh, the ESPN app. First, I don't sponsor ESPN. Of course, with the MLB, Reyes lost by 3 runs against their in-state rivals, the Miami Marlins. The A's are at on 5 runs against the Astros. The three-way series, the Dodgers win the series 2 games to 1, but the Angels got the last 5 score. The the three game the Yankees Red Sox rivalry, Yankees won 6-1, and the White Sox, and the Phillies the NBA tonight. LA Sparks won against uh the Portland Fire. The record 5 games losses on the Cup. Chicago Sky lost against Tempo, new ranking team in WNBA. And in college baseball, Athens Super Regional, Georgia rival SEC edition of Mississippi State by 7-9. And an upset, not so much of an upset, near upset with USC as Tar Heels beat them walk off 4-3. And NBA and tomorrow's game, Spurs and Knicks, we'll talk about it. Knicks are leading by 2 games, whilst start a game on Tuesday, Vegas Golden Knights by 2 games to. All right, topics tonight going to be the Stanley Cup Finals again in the sports updates that they're gonna be shooting the matchup on Tuesday, 5 p.m. 8 Eastern in Las Vegas and T-Mobile Arena. Yeah, and and the next topic for the finals, the ongoing final series against this young and up and coming. First FIFA World Cup that starts on Thursday, June 11th at 12 p.m. First match between Mexico and the Republic of South Africa, and at 7 p.m. Republic of Korea will play against Czechia. And I will talk about it in this program. But first, we begin with an absolute barn burner between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Vegas Golden Knights. I must admit, I'm a Habs fan, and as much as I love hockey, this is if someone said that the Colorado and Vegas Golden Knights was the Stanley Cup Finals matchup, uh, you might want to think again because the matchup between uh, the Vegas Golden Knights and Carolina is absolutely sensational. Absolutely, and I mean, think about it. Um, it did not disappoint. No, Vegas, you know, swept the President's Trophy winner, Colorado uh, Avalanche, 4-0 with the heroics and leading the charge. Their recently acquired free agent of Mitch Marner from the Toronto Maple Leafs, which I must say that was a great pickup, a great asset that the Vegas Golden Knights had, and and I I'm not kidding you guys that uh, ever since Vegas entered the National Hockey League in 2017, they are I must say if we keep these players, including Mitch Marner, Jack Eichel, Mark Mark Stone, all those guys, including Carter Hart, even though he has a controversy booming on him because of the involvement of this SA scandal in playing with Team Canada. It's again you bet to question yourself like biggest goal is just a machine. But on the other side of the coast, you have the Carolina Hurricanes, and boy, I'm a Habs fan. I can't say that I am much disappointed that we did not uh move on to the Stanley Cup. When the last time we that the Habs went to the Stanley Cup was in 2021, and the last time we won the Stanley Cup was in 1993. Ladies and gentlemen, I was not even born yet. I was born February 9, almost the end of February 1995. To be exact, 23rd of February 1995. My cousin at home in the Philippines, born on the first 3 days of February 1993. That's how long that the Habs have not won the Stanley Cup. But I do digress. We'll talk about the Habs when the new season comes. I want to talk about the Carolina Hurricanes. I must admit, when I watched the Hurricanes play during that series against the Habs, I was like, this is absolutely bizarre. This is absolutely bizarre. Them watching the way they play hockey under the system of Rod Brennan. Imagine this is the former captain of the Carolina Hurricanes who led the Canes to their first Stanley Cup in '06. And and the fans in Raleigh, North Carolina, they've been waiting this for 20 years. They've been waiting for this for 20 years. The last time this that was the last time that Rod Brindamore led led the Kings. And another if you know hockey, there are three Stahl brothers. You got Eric Stahl, got Jordan Stahl, and you got Jared Stahl. You know, a bunch of brothers, right? Eric, Mark, Aaron. It's it's absolutely insane. Like, think of it too. That like, Gordon right now is the current captain. He's 37 years, 37 years old. And he's been leading the squad since he became the captain of the Kings. Been a captain for um for what 14 years? Well, I mean, he became the captain in 19 to replace Justin. Been in the organization for a long time, and the series by itself is an absolutely crazy. I mean, with all the hooplas and all the you know the excitement, like game one, Vegas won 5-4, not in overtime, in regulation, mind you. I mean, if you're looking for an exciting, if you're new to the sport of hockey, NHL hockey, this is like on that penultimate, right? Like as a hockey fan of almost 20 years, this is like wow. If I could imagine a boxing match between Manny Pacquiao and God, who knows? Um, oh, Oscar De La Hoya. These two teams are punching blows left and right. Jab, jab there, jab that. Uppercut there, uppercut that. These two squads ain't quitting, and rightfully so. This is to predict, and I said this to a couple of my friends that this is a 7 game series. Mind you, this is a 7 game series, and for all intents and purposes, to say that this is gonna be a gentleman's sweep, buddy, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Right? You think this is gonna be a gentleman's sweep? Good luck. Because tomorrow night, you're gonna it's gonna be at the T-Mobile Arena, and you can say whatever you want about Rod Brind'Amour. Yeah, buff dude, he has a boring coach, he has a boring system. That system is so effective, and that's and credit to Rod Brind'Amour. Yeah, and he is a Rod Brind'Amour is a during his playing days was a center. He was a two-way center and great player, a great player, right? And you know, for Carolina, if you're a fan of the Hurricanes, this is the promised land that you have been waiting for 20 years. Within those 20 years, you've been in a lot of playoff disappointments, a lot of years being in the desert with one of my favorite YouTubers, urinating free, ridiculing them being the brass bonanza, right? And this is their chance to get to win that almost 4 feet of trophy, 37 pounds, lift it up in the air, right? Then, but for Vegas, this is something for them. Like, if they win, the second trophy within their 10 year span, that mark my word, this is going to be if Vegas uh, wins it this year with Mitch Marner and Jack Eichel and all those those guys in the in that roster in Vegas, uh, good luck because good luck because this is Vegas Vegas Golden Knights will be like you know they'll be they'll be a force to be reckoned with for a long, long while. Okay, much of the players are oh, pretty young, pretty young players. Right? They got Anderson, Barbershop, Bowman, Dylan Coughlin, Connolly, Jeremy Davis, Dorothea, Dow, Jack, like I said, Jack Eichel, 30, Noah Hannafin, Carter Hart, Thomas Hurdle for the San Jose Sharks, Den Hill, Alex Holt, Alden, William Carlson, go down the list, Holzer, Korshak, Wyshynski, Jeremy Lauzon, Rafael Lavoie, Lindbaum, like I said, Marner, Brendan McNabb, Magna, Lunchberg, Brandon Saad, Schmidt, Sissons, and the only veteran here, the veterans here are Theodore, Smith, Stone. These three players, Smith, Stone, and Theodore, they've been there since the expansion. Mark Stone's been a captain since then. So this is this is a team to be reckoned with within the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. Now, I will segue about Vegas. I need to talk about uh, the ongoing controversy between the Vegas Golden Knights and their recently coach that was fired. 8 games left in the regular season. Bruce Cassidy, who literally not only brought them to the promised land, but have and won the Stanley Cup in 22 against Florida Panthers, who were starting to build a dynasty, many dynasty of their own. And there were rumors, and these rumors verified that Bruce Cassidy was actually a candidate to be interviewed uh, to be the head coach of uh, of the Edmonton Oilers, I believe, uh, and our own LA Kings. But I'm not a fan, which I like the Kings, but I'm not a fan. I still root for Habs. Again, I digress on that. And this is actually a massive controversy between that. Okay, so the last, yeah, not 22, 2023. The 22 was Colorado Avalanche. 23 was Vegas Golden Knights. And okay, if, fans, folks out there, if you guys have girlfriends or wives, if you guys have wives, maybe not a good topic to listen to this. But if you have girlfriends, maybe a good say out loud, okay? Yeah, so the Golden Knights are on the hook for the contract of Bruce Cassidy till 26 to 27 season, which is this upcoming season. Now, because the divisions in the National Hockey League is divided into 4 divisions, 8 teams. Right? You have 2 divisions, conference in the East and the West. And this year's playoff, this is what they call the Pacific Division, quote unquote pillow fight. I don't know why it is a pillow fight. What is what is it there to pillow fight there? Right? I suppose that if there's kids out there, maybe listening, may want to cover their ears, but maybe the sex was good. Who knows? Right? But the controversy is that the Vegas Golden Knights, the upper management of Vegas Golden Knights, were quote unquote caused a red light blaring in the office and said, Bruce Cassidy is being interviewed by Edmonton Oilers and LA Kings, which is within the domain of the Pacific Division. And you know what they did? And this is a story a few weeks ago. I'm going to reopen, relitigate this story. The front office management of Vegas Golden Knights said, hey, there is no way on earth over our dead Vegas Golden Knights body do you two bozos, you Edmonton and LA Kings, to interview our buddy. So this is like I will imagine this in a relationship. Thank God I do not have a girlfriend yet. I do not know the experience. But if you guys have a let's say problematic relationship, maybe I don't know, this is a good topic to listen to. But if your girlfriend is somewhat beautiful, hot, witty, intelligent, but a bit mercurial, right? A little temperamental, right? Now, let's not put. I cannot say the name of one young. I don't know her temperament, but let's put it out there, right? You have one young, okay, and then they said, you know what? I call. I'm gonna call quits on you, right? Put it out as a guy, right? And for the ladies out there, you guys know sports. Maybe in reverse role, if you have a boyfriend who's toxic, now let's not put air quotes. If you have a boyfriend that's toxic, like toxical, right? So if maybe a good flip on that, right? And so I would say that, right? If you have, say, like one young, please forgive me if I do not know her, but say one young, right? Say, beautiful, very, you know, all the adjectives you have. But in that relationship, she is like toxic, right? And for girls, if you have a boyfriend who's toxic, we'll do this, right? Break up, and then the guy, or maybe the girl, okay, suddenly after 6 months, you start talking and seeing another person, right, on both sides, right? Say, oh, I wanna go out on a date. I'll be my, significant other, right? Alarm bells around. That no, no, you're not dating that person. This is what Vegas Golden Knights are doing. They're like the toxic ex. They're not letting their ex go out and enjoy their new beau. I mean, even the story goes in TSN. You maybe want to look it up on TSN that he was also the candidate of an Eastern Conference team because one of the coaches in Toronto Maple Leafs, Craig Berube, got dusted and said, "Let's get the Bruce Cassidy back home in his hometown in in, I don't know what's his hometown, but let's bring him back home. Oh yeah, from Ontario boy, from Ottawa, Ontario. He's a Maple Leafs. He's a Maple Leafs fan, maybe, right? And they said, no, we're not interviewing. He even do the Toronto Maple Leafs. And how's that sound? When I say this, this is for fans of Vegas Golden Knights. And if you're gonna hate me on this, I do not care less. Cry a river for this, okay? This organization, the Vegas Golden Knights, great organization, almost 10 years as an organization. This is an organization that has petty motives. And their petty motives is like their ton namjin, ton yotsu, their ex, you know, ex significant other, ex boyfriend or ex toxic too, right? And saying no to this. I want to keep them so long that to be together. It's like and this saga still continue. This still continues on, right? And the Kings are literally looking for new coaches. They're looking for new coaches right now. So far, Edmonton, they don't have a coach. They fired two-time Stanley Cup finalist Chris Knobloch because they got gentlemen swept by the Anaheim Ducks 4-2. And again, this is a bit on the fault of the upper management of Edmonton Oilers. But I don't commiserate. I don't lament what Edmonton Oilers have done. Fine, have had an interview that day, right? The Kings with their interim coach, DJ Smith. I don't think he's gonna stay there. Hmm. What what a pot of $1,000, put $100 there. No way on earth he will be staying on and remove the tag of interim, become the head coach of LA Kings after the retirement of Andre Kopitar, right? After Andre Kopitar. And they're looking for coaches. Toronto, they're looking for coaches. There are rumors. Bruce Cassidy might be one of them. Patrick Waugh, the legendary goaltender for the Habs and the Abs, right? And this situation when coaches get fired, they don't they don't hold on to their former coaches like like a collar attached with a string, like they're not. And mind you, like even in even with the typical good old boys club, such as Boston Bruins, when they fired Claude Julien, they and he went to interview to Montreal. You know what they did? They didn't pull his sleeves and say, "No, you're not gonna interview with with those rival chums in Montreal." They said, "All right, you're gonna be interviewed by the Montreal Canadiens. You know, bon chance. You know, we don't have we owe you money, but hey, bon chance. If you take the offer, hey, you're you're off our books. Montreal can pay him, and that's what they did with Claude Julien. Okay, Vegas could. This is an easy decision. Vegas could have done the most decent thing to do. Literally, if you let him go, and he wants to interview with a couple of teams, find what's going to be his new place. You know, let it go. Don't need to hold on to that. Instead, like I said, Vegas Golden Knights are like their ex, whether their ex girlfriend or their ex boyfriend, toxic, toxico, toxica, who who had their former coach going out with three new suitors, three new balls, right? Say, babe, I've been talking to you for almost 6 months. I don't, the boy, you know, yatsin namsin. And then you have that toxic who said, like, there is no way on that. And if this saga continues on for the next few weeks or so, the coaches association have stepped in already, telling the organization to let him go, or else there will be fines, there will be draft picks gone. Never know, right? Or the league will step in after the Stanley Cup playoffs and or the Stanley Cup Finals, whether the Golden Knights win or the Canes win, they're gonna step in and tell to the front office of the Golden Knights, you let go of the coach or you will get fined and lose draft picks. And that they are willing to do that. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding on that. They are willing to do that. Right? So Vegas has no choice. One union, the coaches union have raised that, but if the league steps in, this is if that happens, God help them. You better pray that it does not go there. Because if it goes there, Vegas fans they're gonna be riled up in Vegas. I'm not kidding. And and hopefully Vegas will learn their lesson right away. Look, Vegas have throughout their almost 10 years of 10 years of history, right? They they left all their coaches. But George Gallant for 3 years brought them to Stanley Cup. Did not. They made it to the playoffs. Peter DeBoer led them to the playoffs, but have not touched Stanley Cup. Bruce Cassidy was the first coach within the 10 year, uh, near 10 year existence that they've won a Stanley Cup within the first 10 years as as an expanding franchise, right? Since they entered in the league in 2017. It's crazy that as young as a franchise as Vegas Golden Knights, a successful expansion franchise, they're gonna behave a la Boston Bruins behave, how they behave like boys club. And I hate hockey clubs, in exception to Montreal Canadiens, which I am a fan of, and I like the way they run the franchise. They don't run like a bunch of good old boys club like Boston Bruins. And I tell you this because Boston Bruins, they've won the champion, right? If Vegas, if Vegas Golden Knights want to be like the premier hockey club, like Chicago Blackhawks of the 2012, let's not put Chicago Blackhawks. They have their own troubles. Montreal Canadiens, right? LA Kings, right? The New York Islanders, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Detroit Red Wings. These are premier hockey organizations, hockey clubs. The decent thing to do, if you fired your coach, you've made that firing of the coach, let go. Simple as that. Right? What's next? What's next in this in in this topic? All right. So let's take a look into the NHL draft order. This is the NHL entry draft. This is similar to a MLB amateur draft. And take a look at the 12 worst teams that will be selecting their players. And almost 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe, Toronto Maple Leafs. All as a Montreal Canadiens fan, there are two teams that I do not enjoy their celebration. If they win something or earn something, I do not care. I do not enjoy seeing. Right, that is the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston. Right, more particularly with Toronto Maple. Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know when's the last time. When's the last time Toronto Maple Leafs? Last time got first first. Right. So this is almost 10 years ago. This is the never-ending story about the Toronto Maple Leafs. The last time that they got the number one overall pick was Austin Matthews, who is the current captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Man responsible for all the chokes. And as a Canadians fan, I love the Toronto Maple Leafs. Do not, I repeat, bottle them every game 7. Either I don't know when was the last time they made it to the second round of the playoffs. But every first round of the playoffs, they get bottled. And now they got a number one pick. Something fishy. I tell you, there's something fishy. In fact, in fact, the four worst teams who had let's put Toronto. They're the 5 worst teams in the National Hockey League who had the chance to earn the services of the junior players coming out of the Canadian Junior Hockey Leagues and maybe the US and the European skaters. You gotta think near 26%. Chicago Blackhawks was still in rebuilding mode after the near dynasties of 2010 are at 14%. The Rangers who traded everybody, Panarin and whoever's left in the Rangers, 11.5%. Calgary Flame, the absolute tank of the Pacific Division, got 8 and almost 10%. The Toronto Maple Leafs had almost 9% chance earn the earn the first overall draft. And they and, and, and if you're a Toronto Maple if you're a fan of Toronto Maple Leafs, awesome. You love it. Because you can bump your chest, you can bloviate, you can say like, "Oh, this is a chance. We have we have we have Austin Matthews, we have everybody in Toronto Maple Leafs." But you guys don't have a coach, I'm and and I'm telling you to the Maple Leafs fans, telling you to the Maple Leafs fans, you guys have an incessant, insatiable habit of choking. I do not know why, but as a Habs fan, I love it because it makes me laugh every single day. And if you're a hockey fan, and I don't know, if you do not know the joke, and this is the rivalry between Toronto and Montreal. I am, as a fan, part of that rivalry. Although I love the Blue, I can, I still laugh. Okay? The joke goes like this. Hey, bud, when was the last time that the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup? Oh, that's it. Oh, the last time we won the cup was in 1967. 1967. My mom and dad were not even alive in 1967. They were on my granny's nutsack. Figure that out, right? The last time, again, in historical context, right? The last time that the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup was in 1967. This was the second to the last year. The Prime Minister Lester Pearson was running the country as the Prime Minister of Canada, the most popular, the most successful Prime Minister of Canada in the entire nearly almost well at that time nearly 100 years of existence as a confederation, as a nation, right? The last time the U.S. in 1967 was LBJ. Texas was still a Democratic state. You got, I digress on that, but you get the point. 1967. My dad wasn't even born. He was born in January of 1960. My mom was nearly 5 years old. And my parents do not know hockey. We moved from the Philippines to, to the United States. And my first Stanley Cup Finals that I watched was on a box TV. Great, somewhat grainy picture. Color TV too, right? Pittsburgh and Detroit 08 Finals, where the Detroit Red Wings won 4-2 against Sidney Crosby. Was, I think, believe in his second year in the league. Youngest at that time. Young player. But yeah, the Maple Leafs got the number one again. I go back to that topic about Toronto Maple Leafs. They got the number one. Again, the last time they got the number one overall pick was Austin Matthews. Was the number one draft pick, right? Ever since then, I don't know. Toronto make you guys making me laugh. Toronto. You guys always say this. At the end of the hockey season, if you guys don't make it to the playoffs, you say, like, you would smell your armpits and say, your armpit stinks, and you're like, the hell's that stinking smell? And you always say, oh, it's perfume. Every year you pop up yourself because you say, oh, our Toronto Maple Leafs will win the Stanley Cup this coming season. And even as Habs fan, we've been waiting for 32 years, right? We haven't won since 93 because of the sense of Rajan Hul. Rajan Hul was responsible. I digress. Back to Toronto. And if you're a Maple Leafs fan, you're praying you guys get Gavin McKenna. You guys get Gavin McKenna and let me see, who are the top prospects NHL so far, okay? Gavin McKenna, Penn State, or Ivar Stenberg of Sweden, right? You pray for. I'm not a Leafs, so Leafs can screw themselves, okay? You better pray to whoever your God is, whoever your Buddha is, if you're a Maple Leafs fan, that you get this one right. If not, that perpetual curse will live forever. But I'm telling you, and that's a Canadians fan. We're so close to winning Stanley Cup. We're just gonna laugh at you, like, hey, bud, you know Keskila? We won the Bankasem Block of Stanley. We won the 25th. What have we been doing in 1967? You don't know? Dancing away. Hey, may pourquoi cela? Tabarnak. So, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Right? All right. Let's talk about the FIFA World Cup quickly. And actually, the NBA Finals. Let's talk about that. The Knicks and the Spurs. Knicks are up like 2-0, 2-0. And I think last night's game was indicative of how. Okay, let me put this as a disclaimer. I'm a Laker fan. All right, put this in the disclaimer that that now the Knicks have not won since 1970, 1973. So you put that into context. That's around your parents' age, right? And And in a sense, right now, the Knicks are doing okay. I cannot say well because um, these games were so close. Knicks were behind, somewhat behind in maybe the first half, but they always claw back from behind. 11 points down, easy, easy money, right? Easy money. And for Spurs, people are in the media are boying, oh, your youth and inexperience. We just have to say as it is. They, I cannot, I, I cannot say they overachieved because that's what Spurs organization. It's championship or bust, just like the Lakers. It's championship or bust, right? And so you think about it, right? One thing that you see the difference between the Knicks and the Spurs is that Spurs have not handled massive. Well, their first, they're experiencing their their growing pains in the playoffs with that boneheaded. Call it what it is. That was a boneheaded play by Victor Wembanyama, right? Which I play pickup ball, right? And when you get the rebound, you give it to the point guard to facilitate. And this was towards the end of the game. Spurs had a chance to tie it. Had a chance. When we blew the blew the chance, and Jalen Brunson, and for those a lot of the doubters who doubted Jalen Brunson to bring the Knicks, he I tell you, if he wins the NBA title and they say they swept them or maybe got a gentleman sweep, if the Knicks win, God bless Stephen A. Smith, the host of First Take on ESPN, because he's gonna have like a heart attack or something. But I digress. But you guys, he's gonna be a legend in New York, long time. Jalen Brunson went to Villanova in Pennsylvania for the rest of his life. If he ever wins the NBA title, first time in 1973, New Yorkers, in exception of Donald Trump, in exception to that narcissist in the White House, should Jalen Brunson should not pay a penny or a dollar for his meals, for his groceries, for his food, for his entertainment. If you're a New Yorker, give it for him for free. Treat him like a god. If and only if the Knicks win the NBA Finals and bring their first NBA trophy since 1973. And that's going to be absolutely crazy if that happens. The entire city of New York, in exception to Long Island, are going bad. I swear to God, they're going to go bonkers. It's going to be bedlam from uptown New York City down to Battery Hill, New York City, and even well, then it's gonna cross over the net. Who cares about? But the entire five boroughs of New York, in exception to Long Island and parts of Brooklyn, okay, it's going to be insane. However, on the flip side, if the Spurs were down by two, have a reverse sweep, it's going to be a repeat of 1990. It's going to be again. I'm not. I don't say this loosely. If the Spurs first sweep them, it's going to be like 1999, David Robinson, Tim Duncan era. It's going to be nostalgic again of what it was. Okay? It's going to be an absolute bonkers down there. Absolute bonkers. Okay? Now, 1999, I was 4 years old. It's crazy that 27 years waiting is like it's it's in the reality. However, on Monday, because the game's gonna be tomorrow at 5 p.m. If you're a if you're a fan of the Knicks and you're a regular paying customer of the Knicks game, or you take a subway from uptown to Madison Square Garden, good luck for tomorrow night because it was announced 72 hours ago, 48 hours ago that the president, well, I cannot give dignity to, I don't know, Donald Trump will be coming from Washington, D.C. Watch the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. Now, he want to be portraying like, he like Obama. Or Obama sits in the court side because he's a Boston fan, but Donald Trump will be sitting on the on the suites to ingratiate himself. But there are reports and there's a verified post that I'll read you the verified post. Knicks website. This is this is absolutely disgusting. Right? But please, I, I'm gonna read the post. Okay. As we move closer to Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Monday night, the Madison Square Garden and the United States Secret Service want to help and ensure a safe and enjoyable experience for all ticket holders by sharing the important security procedures that will be in place. A no strict bag policy will be in effect. Fans should make every effort to limit personal items to an absolute minimum. Fans should expect enhanced security measures when entering MSG, including TSA-style screening procedures. Guests are strongly encouraged to arrive at least 2 hours before tip-off to allow additional time for screening and entry. Fans are encouraged to review the complete list of prohibited items before arriving at MSG. Go to the website, secretservice.gov says prohibited items. There will be no storage available for prohibited items brought. Now, that is absolutely nuts. Absolutely bizarre. Absolutely asinine. If you're a fan seeing this post, everybody is shitting on the Knicks, including Jim Dolan, who was, I don't think he's responsible for bringing the Knicks back to its relevance. But here are some of the comments from the fans. They're really making this team exercise all the demons to win this thing. Another fan said, please tell the Orange Man that it is in everyone's best interest that he stays home. Another dude says, his bad juju will ruin the good vibes, which is true. A lot of celebrities go to the next game. Another one. Honestly, the Bible type MSG will be probably so much fun than outside. $11,000 for the cheapest ticket versus going out and celebrating with fans. Another one says, submission to ruin the apps. Finally, I can't wait to hear the loudest boo we've ever heard in the garden. Not even the Spurs will get to boo That good food. That ah, man, this is an absolute nightmare for fans, right? And if you are from Wall Street, you're working there, and you got a bunch of mullahs, able to watch the ticket ahead of time, and it's like, wow, what am I gonna bring? A wallet, phone, that it? I mean, what? What is MSG gonna look like? An international airport to be subjected with ESA shit, all that bullshit, but paraphernalia, you know, check everything, any non-illegal stuff. Like, buddy, you're going to a basketball game, right? I've seen fans carrying placards to cheer on the team, and they're not gonna bring that, buddy. That's an absolute nightmare. And to arrive there 3 hours ahead. Imagine this. Imagine this. You have to wake up at 7 in the morning. You have to get to work at maybe 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then what? You have an eight hour shift, right? Game starts what? What time's the game starts at? um, the Knicks, the Knicks game. Eight. Let's see. Knicks game tomorrow. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. Imagine you gotta get there 3 hours ahead of time. And if you're lucky enough, your subway from Brooklyn to Manhattan gets you to MSG. You have to you have to be in line for the next God God knows 4 hours. I mean, might as well go. I'll go to the bar and watch a game. Pay eight or $9 a beer if I have to. Then subject yourself to watch a game where the worst president of the history of the United States is present just to ingratiate himself. If you're a Knicks fan, a truly Knicks fan, there's a lot of hardcore Knicks fans saying, "I am putting a buck over my dead body. I will not go." And they're right. They're hella right about this too. Clearly, this is like you're going on an international airport, subjected to TSA stuff. Now, I've flown before, and God bless those TSA agents who put everything in the line, right? God bless them, right? To subject fans like this, I mean, this is absolute madness. Just to watch a basketball game, right? And the Knicks front office, or this the higher management really stooped down to to share it to the fans. They didn't need that. They didn't need that. You got Barack. Barack is a basketball aficionado. He got former President Barack Obama. He had a bunch of Secret Service guys, you know, surrounded him. He would sit courtside. He's like Barack just sits there like a regular fan. And the orange man in the White House, going to the luxury suites and clap like he is like, oh, you guys love me. Like, now everybody in New York hates you, bum. Come on. Sorry, this podcast is not about Paul. You gotta show it. We gotta just need to understand it. And the World Cup. The next topic is gonna be the World Cup. Oh man, a lot of fun. World Cup is this year in U.S., Canada, and Mexico, and it's 48 teams. Mind you, the first game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is going to be in Mexico and South Africa and South Korea and Czechia. Mind you, I am a fan of three countries: of Spain, Germany, because I have a German national team shirt, and Korea. And investigators are here's the detail, right? Like exact favorites for the FIFA World Cup. Okay. Group A, this is heavy host pressure and chaos. Okay. There are, and this is a pressure cooker for Mexico. They're playing in their home ground in Estadio Azteca, and Me- for Mexicans, this is an easy. This should be the easiest way for them to get out. And I do predict, right, that Mexico and Korea will come out. But Czechia have a they're also narrow favorite to get out of the group A due to the veteran presence of Tomas Sushek and Patrick Schick, right? And Korea and Mexico have their hands full. Now, if Korea gets out, and I believe Korea has a chance, huge chance to get out of the World Cup game. And the players, and these are the players. And these are the players uh, for Korea. Their roster. Mm. Oh, sorry. Here are the rosters. 2026 people. This is their rosters. You got the goalkeepers here: Kim Song-gyu, Song Bo-gum, Hyunwoo, and the defenders like the popular ones like Kim Min-tae, Lee Gi-yeok, Lee Han-bom, Lee Tae-yeon, Lee Tae-seok, Chu Jae, and Kim Moon-hwan, who used to play for LAFC, Park Jin-sub, Sol Yeon-woo, and the German Korean Jens Kanstrup, right? You got Hwan In-won, who plays for Feneroid. You got Baek Song-woo, Lee Jae-sung, play for German League, Bundesliga. Mainz, Manny Chan for the Wolverhampton, Daejun-ho, York City, Lee Gang-in, the new repeating. I don't think they're repeating. The two-time uh, UEFA Champions League champion, Lee Gang-in, Paris Saint-Germain, Yang Hyun-jun, Kim Jin-gyu, Song Ji-sung, Lee Do-kyung. You have the super captain, Min for LAFC, Song and Oh Hyungyu. These are gonna be, and there's a lot of predictions here that, and their manager, Hong Myung-bo, but Korea needs to show to the Korean fans that 'cause Korean fans are very the last almost 4 years that they're still pissed by the president of the KFA selecting Hong Myung-bo, and for Host Hong, well, I don't know how many times he goes to national. This is a time for him if he doesn't want to get sacked. Show them that they can get back to their to the promised land that they rode in 2002. The last time that Korea made it to past round of 32, round of 16 was 2000 when they made it to the semis. Mind you, this is gonna be crazy if that happens. Literally crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Uh, and let's talk more about the and for Team USA, this is a massive, uh, intense pressure because again, you got the man in the White House who loss is non-acceptable for him. They have the man needs to be ingratiated. Even that's not part. It's not part of that. Again, I digress. And last, we have a couple more topics, and the block boss, the block, where Browns sent Miles Garrett from Cleveland to the LA Rams. Now that is a badass move, ladies and gentlemen. That was a badass move. I still could not that they pull it off, right? Jared versus to Cleveland. Jared is a great defense. I do not think he can replace Miles Garrett when he goes to Cleveland. And Cleveland itself are restarting and rebuilding around Shador Sanders. Miles Garrett going to the Rams. I don't know how to compare this trade. I cannot say that this tantamounts to Kevin Durant free agency. It's not. I cannot say that this tantamounts Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. Well, it could be, but I don't think so. The reason I say it is this: it's because the Rams are dangerous on that one side of the offense. Matt Stafford, the ageless wonder, captain of the team. You got, and now Miles Garrett. God, that's absolutely crazy. And for what? For the Rams to trade away Jared, not just Jared first, the Rams first round draft pick, the second round, the third round draft pick. That's a lot of assets. And mind you, this is LA. This is LA, where the narrative goes as this, and that's a Laker fan is do whatever it takes to get the best player possible. Stan Kroenke, you know, less need Sean McVay, Bravo. Props to you, ladies and sirs. Because if you're in NFC West, if this is red flag alert. This is red alert for San Francisco and even the current Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Rams are going. They're going for your trophy. They're going for that division. They don't care if you're just won the Super Bowl against the Pats. They don't care. Because the Rams' mindset is this: whatever you took from us, we'll take it back by hook or by crook. And Rams have F you money. Absolutely fuck you money. Sorry if there's foul language, but absolutely fuck you money. And for what it's worth, they made it. But on the flip side, in the AFC, as a Pats fan living in LA, this news really gave me absolute chest pains. Not only it's bad enough for the Pats went to the Super Bowl and we are primed to win it all this coming season. Right? This team itself, the defensive side of the team of the Rams, are an absolutely bar none cheat code with Miles Garrett. And if the Pats go to SoFi, deal with Miles Garrett with Drake May, Drake May. Oh brother. Even I myself was a Catholic. I couldn't even, as much as I can pray to God, have the Pats win every single time. We just have to bow down to submission. That's like we can do, right? But I was watching some Instagram story posts and with Pat McAfee getting a text or texting uh Aaron Donald asking, "Are you thinking of coming back?" You put a fire on my thought, and boy, oh boy, that is like if that's not a smoking gun, I don't know what that is, eh? Because if you think about it, think clearly, think hard. If Aaron Donald, when was the last time Aaron Donald put on pads in a football uniform, pads and helmet? Dude, that guy's fit. He's 35 years old. He could be playing another 4 more years of football if he didn't retire. And the rumors are swirling that Aaron might potentially unretire for a run, the last final run against with Miles Garrett. Brother, that is I don't know what it is, but that's absolutely ah. Not only you have Miles Garrett can cover, I think right defensive end or the left defensive end. I don't know how the scheme goes. But if you combine both of them and shift them on both sides, I think our offense will be like you're on the shotgun, right? You're on the shotgun, and you said ready to set, and then you'll be looking like I got a lion on my right side, and on the left side is like, oh, I got a tiger on my right. I don't know what to do, right? Even in the on the center position, it's even worse too. You pre- you got predators. Who, if Aaron Donald unretires next month, but I don't know if he could go, you got two apex predators, and you guys got, and the entire league are gonna be hella scared, and they're all gonna be hella scared. Jeez, and my God, it's gonna be crazy. This NFL season, this coming NFL season, is going to be, if not crazy, absolutely bananas. Okay, and I look forward for that NFL season. I'm not gonna lie. That is gonna be fantastic. I tell you, that's going to be absolutely fantastic. All right, that before we end the podcast, I just wanted to like as we return to really wrap up this third episode, step away from the statues and real talk, right? A lot of good movies coming out. There's a lot of movies that are uh coming out in 20 just within this month and next month. Oh my, this is, and if you love sci-fi, like Disclosure Day, that's one of the top movie release that's since actually that came out just this year, this coming week on June 12th. Uh, directed by Steven Spielberg, called Disclosure Day, and the premise of this movie is the massive government conspiracy unraveling whistleblower with a alien disclosure, right? Or not if you into uh if you're in, if you're a Disney fan, which I grew up watching Toy Story, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2. Have not seen the three and three Toy Story 3 and 4. And I tend to be a cake, an emotional cake guy, and I like movies. I love movies. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I love. I love to go to watch movie on streaming platforms or movie theaters. I have not watched Toy Story. The the Toy Story 3, 4, and this coming Toy Story. I don't know, because Toy Story for me, when I was young in the Philippines, it was a lot of adventures, but it was also I was too young to experience about uh what it's like coming of age. And I tell you, Toy Story 3 and 4, if you watch anime like slice of slice of life or coming of age, if you're Korean, if you like Korean dramas like myself, I love drama series that are coming coming of age because it really reveals your it really reflects a lot of yourself, what what you were in the past, what and the lessons that you got from the past, and what you could do in the near future, or what lessons that you care that still carries you on, and what regrets that you experience and you wish it did not happen. So for me, like watching Toy Story, if I ever watch Toy Story 3 and 4, and the fifth installment of Toy Story, I do not know if I can carry myself not crying because you know somewhere around almost a month ago we were watching. I was watching this wonderful Korean movie called 지금은 만나러 갑니다 or Be With You by two great Korean actors, right? Suji Seo and who that Be With You? Yeah, Suji Seo and Son Ye-jin. The entire I cried it. I'm an emotional cake. And the entire and, and mind you, I we watched it with my church buddies or our church friends in the same base in Koreatown. I was sitting on the table with a couple of guys and a bunch of girls on that table. Dude, I was I couldn't even stop thinking. I couldn't even stop crying. Even the good moments. If I watch Toy Story 3, I don't know if I can carry it. I can emotionally carry it. For me, being okay, I can't. I'm gonna get flack, but a bit of a softie, right? and and I said I made a vow, I think almost 10 years. I even disclosed this to one of my online friends that I met on DM. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll be. Dude, like, but why? Like, I, I, you know what? If I cry, I cry. But watching Toy Story, I'm not so sure if I can. I had to watch this movie, Be With You, or Korean title. 지금 만나러 갑니다. God, this was the movie that was recommended by me. Korean, Korean. Recommended. Literally cried. Like, no, I've never cried to the ever before. It's really hard if I could watch that movie. And but if you have the moment to watch Toy Story 5, that's also recommended. Go watch it. Go watch it with your family. Go watch it with with your significant others. Maybe by yourself, but have a tissue ready. Get ready, because boy, oh boy, you're gonna ah, you're gonna cry a lot. Trust me. If if you think you're not gonna cry in that movie, chances are you're lying. And as much as I love music, and there's some good music that are coming. Pop anthems, Spotify, or Stateside by Panther Rest and Sarah Larson. Espresso. This song is when did this song? Looking at me, getting my own. It's a sweet espresso. When did it? Oh, it came out 24. Still, uh, but I don't know what if there are any new songs that are coming out. I'm trying to look in. Wow, Drop Dead, Olivia Rodrigo. Oh, they got then there's Drake, Janice, SDFU, Midnight Sun, but not Zara Larson. We're into American pop music. But for the K-pop fans out there who are into K-pop, Oh wow. I must admit, I listen to a lot of K-pop music. I don't listen to new generations, and so that's a lot. Hmm, interesting, but well, whatever music comes out, uh, well, let's enjoy it. And so, with summer coming out, it's a lot of time to enjoy. And also, if you live in LA, LA area, they're offering free watch parties. And I'll be going to one of those watch parties in Koreatown at the Liberty Park in front of Radio Korea building and the I believe Korea Times building off at Wilshire Boulevard. Because I usually go to Koreatown every so long. So I'll be watching Korea's game um, June 11th, June 18th, and June 24th. I'm rooting for Korea to get out of the group and maybe get to uh, get to those quarterfinals. But uh, but honestly, life in general so far, and I'm saying this uh, after not doing podcasts for almost 2 years, no, almost 3 years now. Yeah, like working in the office, a lot of new. I came from the teaching profession, and, and right now, like I'm going back. But this podcast, it's not going to be one shot. I will do everything in my power. I will do some podcast shots, talk about sports. This is going to be mainly sports, but interesting life stuff and everything, fashion and everything. So if you guys have any topic you guys wanna shoot me a message, I will gladly like to talk about it. But in life in general, like this is what I learned. Now I'm 31, and one thing that I learned is this. This is where I I wish I love my parents. My parents are they they molded me who I am, what I am. Do not stress about the timelines that you do not meet the goals that you wish that you wanted to accomplish, but it could not be done because there's a reason why it happens. And if you are very close to your fate, and like myself, there is a reason why it did not happen to you. And this and God is giving you a lot of opportunities, right? If it doesn't fit you, don't force the issue. My father said this once, and he said me when I was this was before I graduated from the junior college to the university. Went back to university at Cal State. He told me, "Kuya, do not." I'll say a paraphrase is in Tagalog, and Kuya, wag kang lalangoy pat, patras, yung parang patas, like going upstream. Lumangoy ka sa daloy ng, or actually he said this like, wag kang lumangoy sa agos ng, lumangoy ka sa dun sa dinadaanan ng. What it means is that don't swim against the stream. Go swim along the stream. And I I like that advice from my father because I realized, and this was like this was a hard reality. Now that's all. There's so many things I wanted to do in my life, and I was so lost. And straight up, and this is straight up, life can get stressful. That's just Let's put it facts. It is stressful enough. But if you think about it, there's so many pivots in your life. Career pivots, you have a lot of relationship goals. You want to try to achieve massive projects. But this is one thing I could have learned this young when I was in my early 20s. Someone told me in my early 20s, don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself a grace. A lot of grace. Because life doesn't move like a straight line. It's not. Someone's gonna throw you a curveball, someone's gonna throw you a changeup, someone's gonna throw you a splitter. Right? But amidst in that curveballs and those bad stuff that happens, you gotta be honest with yourself. Like, I'm not just willing to get up, I am going to get up. Right? Because the best chapters in life, it's not about what's what's the next plan. It's not about like, oh, this plan didn't work. I don't think I'm gonna continue. Like, keep at it. Right? I always say this, but this is my mom, or I would say this to all. Surround yourself with good folks. Surround yourself with good folks they're willing to cheer you on, but they're willing to be frank with you and honest. Eat some good food, healthy food, right? Don't let the daily rudimentary grind rob you, because people just go to the mundane and rudimentary part of their lives, and then it just robs their peace. Once it's robbed, it's like it doesn't come back to you. And the final thing too is this. This is I still remember my teacher writing to a couple of my schoolmates in high school. Congrats, Gab. Congrats, Gabby. Your whatever goals in your life are going to be, never change. Stick to your values, stick to your principles, stick to your what made you who you are, what you are, right? And never please don't please others just for the sake of getting just to be pleased. It's that always have grace to yourself. Never please others for the sake for getting pleased, because no one likes it. And the moment that you do it, people will not like that. So always be true to yourself. And that, my friends, is straight up with Gabby Duga. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a wonderful night.